Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Report Builder, and this is the third of the super user functions part of the course, and this is the bit that I think, I say bit, is the subject which I can certainly talk about till next Tuesday. And if you have extra questions about it, which I'm sure you will because it's such a big area, then please do either contact support and ask your questions, or if you wanted another session, I'm very happy to put one on at some point during March. So the agenda today, I wanted to go through some definitions, the reports and the reports page. You may or may not be aware of it, but you can have multiple reports pages. On your systems, you've only got one, but we're already starting to create dashboards so you can have multiple reports page. This is useful for a number of things. For example, you can have a dashboard for the people that do the reviews and appeals, and a dashboard for people that do data breaches and so on in the same system, a dashboard for complaints. But the most important thing is that we get those definitions right so that you can see and build the reports and then place them onto a page. And of course, deal with things like security, who can actually see the reports. The other definitions, things like rows and headers, should be obvious, but obviously columns and fields, those are the things that you choose to put on your report, and there is some level of aggregating, but there comes a point where you need to set the security so that you can export the data, put it into a spreadsheet or BI, and to be able to do some of the fancier graphs and things. We do quite a lot of that, but we're not trying to reproduce Excel here or Microsoft BI. Obviously, the definitions list for reports is enormous because you're reporting on the data in the system. So you'd need to know, before doing the reports like this, you would need to know all of your processes, and you would need to decide, is this a management report or a compliance report for the likes of your information commissioner, and is it a public disclosure report, or is it a list of items for a particular contact, for example, for the local police? The idea here is that you can pick the types of request, whether they're SAR or FOI, and you can report and filter on any of the data about the requests. So it could be some words in the description, so parks, for example, or housing rent, or arm's length organisations, or education, school, but also you can pick filters in your report so that you can just look at the logged ones, or just the ones that you're about to send a response out to and which you need to expedite now. You can also, of course, colour the report so that you get red if it's 3 days to go and purple if it's late, and whatever. So to get started on reports, we go to the admin menu and we go to reports admin. And I'm going to demonstrate that now. I'm going to flip off PowerPoint and just take you through a bit of a tour of it so that you can see how it works. And we're going to be looking at the reports page to start off with, and you'll see that on the reports page you will have various groups. Now, which groups and which reports you have will be bespoke to your organization. So I think my reports over here, I think I have them over here. If I show you my reports page, they're very different to your reports pages. If we flip to the demo now, so this is a reports page, and you'll see the top item is management reports, the top group, and the top report is SARS, and then there's all stats and so on. So if I go to my reports admin, you'll see that that structure is reflected in the reports admin page. So if I wanted to edit this SARS report in terms of the permissions of who can see it and where it is in that group, I would go to setup, and then what I can do is I can say I want that to be, I don't know, bold blue or something, and it'll turn blue, and off we go. And if I hit save up at the top there, oh, if I change the order as well, if I say that's going to be 22 or something in order in the list and hit save, then when I refresh this reports page here, then SARS has gone to position 22. So position 22 is presumably a higher number, and you may remember that I chose for it to be blue. There's all kinds of other stuff which we don't have time to go into now, but you can do things like say it's inline or side by side, and you can also stick icons in and various other bits and pieces. Depending on what version number it says up here, you may have more or less bells and whistles. You can also decide, as we'll be seeing later, who sees it. So it may be that only administrators see this, but department reps don't, or vice versa. You can also have filters on reports so that people who can see private reports are the ones who can see SARs, but sensitive FOIs, but not other people. Now, going back to this configuration page, you'll notice that if I was to refresh this page here, obviously SARs has gone down to the bottom of the list and all stats is at the top of the list now. I'm just going to jump to this group to show you how to actually create a brand new report. And it's very simple. You pick the group in which you would like the report to be, and you click new, and you then follow a wizard. Now, presently, you've only got in this environment, you've got one, what we call BDU, one business data space or business data universe. I think marketing department decided to expand it to. So that means you're going to be able to report on all the fields to do with activities, appeals, a certain amount of audit data, the FOI item itself or SAR, so its number, its description, who the contact is, how many days have gone by, and so on. You can then add some preset filters. So you can say in this report, I only want to see those items that have a review and appeal, or I only want to see Jane's items, or I only want to see my items, or whatever it is. You can also take, by the way, the same report and you can publish it 3 times, one with a filter for Bill, one with a filter for Sally, and one with a filter for somebody else. So you can see how flexible it is to be able to use this as a tool to create personalized dashboards. Now, in true Blue Peter fashion, because this is a 20-minute session and not a 3-day session, I'm just going to nick to the configuration of a report rather than click a new one and start a new one. I'm just going to click to configure like this, and I'm going to this report, the open requests report, which is this report on the top of this screen here. What this report looks like is this, and it's got these column headings on it, and it's got some colors, as you can see here. So it looks like we have decided that clarification requested goes gray with white text in the background, purple for logged, and closed no changed needs checking no changed. It looks like if the due date has gone past late, it looks to me like we've said, hey, go orange, we need to do something about that. But of course, this is demo data, so it's all pretty late because it depends on whether we've done a demo and actually amended that instance. But this makes it very easy to look through your reports and to be able to pick out certain areas where you've got to act fast, or say why has that guy got SARs on his screen, he's not supposed to see private stuff, and so on. The way that works, let's take the columns, is the first column is request number. So that means that somebody must have gone into the FOI items here and dragged request number from this list here and dragged it into the list here. Likewise, date received, the subject of the information request, date due, and you can say the rest. Now, while I was messing around preparing for this course, I also added in these filters. So if you want to search on items, you can add in filters and you can say, I would like to be able to search on the date, the request number, and whether or not it's open. So for example, I've only said here, I want to see open requests. If I said any requests, I suspect the list would be ginormous. So I'm just going to go for open requests right now and refresh that. So just to summarize, we've got a report which is in a group on the reports page, which we can find here. It's this report, all open requests. And we've got, in addition to that, we've got various columns, and we've picked those columns down here. So we've named our report, we've created a report, we've named it Open Requests Report. Obviously, we can change that name quite easily. It's presented on the reports page. When we click on it, it's got a filter which says, I only want to see open requests, this filter just here that you can see in the background, this one. And I'll be showing you how to create those set filters in just a moment. Now, when you bring out the information about an information request, where's my information request? There you go, FOI item. It could be that you want to filter on something else. So it could be, for example, you want to filter on exemptions, or you want to filter on whether or not there was late closure for that. So you can just pull those into the filters. I'm not actually sure if we have a field for late closure here, so I'm going to drag one in. There we go. Just to go back to those columns, I did want to cover at some point in the agenda this business of colour. So on due date, we have some orange dates. I can't actually remember what's orange and whether there's any other colours, but if I go to due date and I go to conditional colours, it looks like I've added some conditional styling in here. So I've said the text colour is, the background colour is always white, because I've taken fairly dark colours for my backgrounds here. And I've said if it's 10 days before, go purple, go in my face and really tell me there's something I've got to do there, and go orange if it's afterwards. So anything that is completed up to today, go orange. And if I was to say before today, we won't see any in this particular list, but if I was to create a new rule here, you can see how easy it is to do. So if I was to say anything between, I don't know, the 1st of December and 2021, so between the 1st of December 2021 and the 31st of December 2021, and let's make that, let's say that's just got red letters. You don't have to put the hex code in, it recognizes quite a few bits and pieces. Red letters on a white background, and save that. If I then refresh this report here, you can see those are now red letters. So now we've done the Blue Peter, the colours. I'll just take you through a couple of very important security issues. You don't want people to be able to export unless they have the authority so to do. You can prevent people exporting to CSV by ticking this box here. However, some people will be allowed to export to CSV, for example, to produce management books, and some people should not be able to export to CSV. And so what you can do is you can say everybody can export to CSV, but in user admin, if we go to user admin here, they must have, and let's pick I don't know, employee group admin test. Let's just take this person here. They must have CSV export. So this person, AXLR8 test user, hasn't got CSV export, so they won't be able to export from any reports at all. So we've run through the colors, we've run through exports. I did want to just talk to you about RB actions. Now, presently, the RB actions that you have is that you can save filters, and I've got a filter here called all open. If I was to say no filters, you can see I had some other ones there as well. If I was to say I've got no filters, but I want something like, oh, I don't know, I want to, in the IR subject, I want to see schools. I don't care whether they're open or not. Any, there we go. So I've got no filter on at the moment, but I'm going to save this filter of anything with the word school in it. Actually, that should be contains rather than starts with it. There we go. So there's our schools, schools improvement, schools officers, school journeys, and so on. Now, if I save that filter, it says, what do you want to call it? Anything with schools. There's my any school stuff filter. And what I can do is I can create a new report over here, which takes this report in here in my setup and permissions. I can create a new report here. So where are we? Information request. Just take a new one like this on the report page, because remember, there could be other pages. And the report title will be schools. Schools related. Better put something serious in case I deal with a serious demo type person. Control C, Control V. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick, I think it's the open requests report, was it? I think it was. And I'm going to pick the school stuff filter. I'm going to put that in what group? Children and families, sounds reasonable. And I'm not going to bother with a report description. I am going to put it inline. I'm not going to bother with an icon. Make it 22 again in that group. I don't know if there's. It's a good idea to put about 10 in between. So if I was to say 30, hopefully there's not already a 30. I'm doing for time 2 minutes. Then if I'm wrong, I can just say 35 if there's already a 30, and it'll go between that and whatever's number 40. But it's always a good idea if you've got orders in lists to put a number in there. So it's going to be bringing me back this report, and as I save it, it's going to be bringing me this report with version 21, which means the one with this filter. And I could say auto run. I could say I want to see that every time I go into reports, but I'm not going to do it in this case. So I've hit save. I'm not going to bother applying any permissions either, but now I can go to reports page over here, refresh it, and then I've got, where did I put it? Children and families, and I need to just refresh that. Why hasn't it gone in? It's not active, that's why. So active, let's make it blue so that I can see it, bold. And what is going wrong here? Why is it not there? Report. It might be reports. No, it's report. There is something missing. Report, open requests. Oh, it shouldn't be the open requests report. It should be called children's. Yeah, it should be called children's stuff. Children, schools. Rated. Should have put a K in there, shouldn't I? Control C. Control V, that's what I meant to do, and save. So it was there, it's just called the wrong thing. That's correct. So now we've got two different reports, only split by filters. So this all open requests and this one is the same report, but if I click on here, I only get school stuff. So if I refresh that, I just get stuff to do with schools. So the word schools must be contained in here. Likewise, many people want media related things. It's not, I thought we had one on here actually, media related. Oh, no, that's public disclosure log. Somewhere around here, many people have got media related requests. I can remember putting that on for quite a few customers. Likewise, there'll be things like management reports, and there'll be a section that you'll, by the way, you could obviously move these groups. So if I wanted to take management reports and move it and put it there, for example, and swap those, then I can easily do that. And if I hit save and refresh, then you can see management reports has gone over there now. So you can build your report page as you wish. You can create your own reports. You can create reports that look very different with filters, and then as you get creative with it, you end up with this situation. Over various years, things have started to add on. Again, these pictures, you can add these pictures. So we've got pictures of our servers and the work calendar, and we're connected up to our telephone and so on. So we've got various different pictures that go in there. So if I flip back to PowerPoint to make sure I've covered everything, that's how to create a report. We covered how to choose columns and how to drag filters in. In the next version of Report Builder, every column will have a filter anyway, so you won't need that. So if I look at I don't know, customer satisfaction scores, you'll see that every column has a filter on it anyway. So as I go there, I can say I only want people from this or whatever. We also had a look at colouring the reports. Obviously, you can tick here to say who's allowed to see it. You can set the order of the report. You can put a particular filter on. You can decide if it runs, if it auto opens the report. So auto opening report, if I was to go to this and go back and close all of these like this and refresh this, then when I go to the reports page, this report auto opens, and I may not have mentioned, but as you can see, you can get graphs in reports, and if you want to get rid of the graphs, then you can go to the RB actions, and one of them is export. Another one is I don't want a chart, I want a grid, and you can go back to the grid or go to the chart as you wish. Glad I didn't forget that. But that's the purpose of PowerPoint, I think, to remind us. Colors, I think we've gone through. You can have the standards that you set in your request type or your request status. You'll be aware that in the admin section of the course, we were able to create colors that were associated with SARs and particular types of request and the status of the request. And of course, you can incorporate those colors into it as well. So you can do that conditional formatting. You can say any more than 3 days to go and it's serious, we need that to go red. You can look for imminent ones, late ones, I think we covered that. RB actions, there's various things that you can do. You can mail merge, text, chat. This line of RB actions is so long with some systems now that I've broken it into two. So obviously you can save the filters, you can clear filters if you wish. You can also update data. So you could take, and for that you would need tick boxes. So the idea is if you update data, let's say you wanted to take 16 items and move them from response sent to closed, you can do that, but obviously you would have to have a tick box, and you'll have seen that tick box option in the report builder. Export to CSV if you're allowed to. Multi-sort means sort by this column and then sort by this column within that. You can email the owners if you wish. You can write to a particular owner and say you can create a new report and so on and so forth. Do be careful of one last thing. If you have an information request with multiple activities, then if you have the information request information in the report and the activities in the report, you will get, if you have multiple activities, repeating row. So if you had 2 activities, you would get 2 reports. In this case, if there's 4 different activities, then this information request will come up 4 times in the table, as you would expect. So that's Report Builder. I hope you don't mind that it's a whirlwind tour. Hopefully you've been inspired to go back in to your report builder, create some new reports. Nothing can go wrong. Please do give it a go. You're really doing a read-only thing. You're not writing to the database when you do a report, except I think there are some audit of who made reports and things, I believe. So please feel free to call in if you want to make your own reports or dashboards. If you would like to have any more information about reports, I can set up another reports builder, more advanced sessions, or just call in support and we'll do a screen share and take you through it. Thank you very much indeed for your time.